Hi, my name's Kent,
And I'm Lisa.
and we're Living Light RV.
We are grabbing life by the tail.
You bet we are.
And today we want to give you a little bit of history of who we are, where we came from, why we do the things we do, and what our plans and dreams and goals are for the future.
Excellent. So let me tell you first of all where we're at. We're living in a two-bedroom apartment condo thing, and we call it the Funnel. And the reason we call it the Funnel is because a year ago we sold our house and we downsized tremendously, got rid of a ton of stuff, and moved into a two-bedroom so that we could once again just get all the things we needed to get done so that we could live full-time in an RV.
So that is our dream and our goal, is to live full-time in a truck and trailer or a motorhome. We're not sure what the RV looks like yet.
That's right.
But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's rewind about 29 years.
Yeah, about 29.
And so we got married and had a great life. And then when our oldest daughter was 18 months old, she got really, really sick. She actually ended up in the hospital. They weren't sure what was wrong with her. They were saying meningitis, maybe something else. As it turned out, it was a blood infection, streptococcal blood infection. And Kent got the same sickness. He ended up actually in ICU on full life support for a couple of weeks, and it was a scary time. It was really scary for me. I think he didn't really know what was going on. He knew he was sick, but that was about it. And go ahead.
It was like the worst flu of my life.
Yeah.
I woke up and it's like I just want to lay down and do nothing. And my wife insisted that my parents bring me to the hospital. And 2 days later, they were hooking me up to all kinds of equipment in ICU, and then I don't remember the rest.
I remember it, however, and it was not nice. I remember thinking, as a young bride or whatever, I was thinking, it'd be so nostalgic if, he got sick and I could nurse him back to health. It's not nostalgic, people. It is horrible. It was horrible to go through all of that. And anyway, I was 21 years old. I was pregnant with our second child. My oldest daughter was in the hospital, not knowing where her life was at. Kent was really sick. At one point, the doctor came in and said, Lisa, he said, you're going to have to prepare yourself to not have a husband by the end of the weekend. And I remember just thinking, how do you prepare yourself for that at that young age? And it was a really trying time, but we prayed a lot, and God was gracious, and he pulled us through it. And we had tons of other people praying, and the doctors and nurses were amazing. They were very, very skilled. They had lots of wisdom. Through that experience, Kent and I really, it helped to shape and mold our our mandate for life,
Our outlook for life.
Our outlook, our principle, which is to appreciate every moment and to live every day to its fullest. So we do not live for the weekend.
That's right.
We have always tried to live our lives every day as much as we possibly can, to enjoy every day and to appreciate every moment.
We also hope to always have short accounts with each other, instead of being that person that says, I'm upset, I'm going to be upset for a while until she says what she should say, and then I'll be back on a connecting level. It's like, no, life's too short for that.
It is too short. And that's the other thing we learned too. We don't know when our last day is.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's just live life, let's appreciate it, not take any day for granted.
But that was a lot of years ago now.
That was a long time ago. So then we had 2 more kids. We have 3 daughters. And so we ended up moving to Calgary about 15 years ago?
15 years
So that
ago,
was from Vancouver area, BC, into Calgary. And what did we do in Calgary?
Bought a house, started some businesses. One of them real estate, so we bought some other properties too, and had a supply business, and that was going along great. And then we had some challenges in life.
Yeah, so one thing that happened is for a long time, Kent has always wanted a motorcycle. And one reason is because we did all our dating on his motorcycle, which was really fun. We loved it.
Yeah.
But then when we got married and started having kids, we said, you know what, no more motorcycles until
our youngest turns 18.
So 5 months before she turned 18.
2 months.
Was it only 2 months?
No, just 2.
2 months before she turned 18, Kent went out and bought a motorcycle. It was winter in Calgary, so he had to trailer it, parked it, and then in that spring he ended up starting to ride again, which was really exciting.
Yeah.
He wanted me on the back, so that was a huge thing for me. Now, one thing you should know about me is that I have always had fear issues. So when he got a motorcycle, I had to really overcome a lot of my fears just to ride on the back. And I did, though. I thought it was worth it to overcome it. And I got to the place, it took a long time, but I got to the place of not just being okay with it or putting up with it. I actually got to the place of loving being on the back of that motorcycle.
Yeah, we bought a Vulcan 800, and it was old school, chain and sprocket and all those things. And we went to Vancouver on it from Calgary twice. Went down to Kalispell and to Idaho. Rode to the Sun. We went everywhere. It was great.
It was so much fun. One thing that we love to do is ride as group rides with different friends around the city here. And one day in October, it was October 18th, 2014, we were riding out to Canmore with a group of friends. And my best friend, Stephanie, actually had a motorcycle accident. She ended up going around a corner, she crossed over the double line, and ended up doing a head-on accident with a pickup truck that was hauling a load of horses.
Yeah.
And she died instantly right there on the highway. That was huge for us. That was so traumatic. And so for the next several months, we had to deal with the trauma of that situation, as well as grieving and the loss of our friend Stephanie.
Yeah, and Stephanie's husband was part of that ride too. And so he was on his own bike. And so we actually, for the next probably 2 years, spent our time with him, and as friends, and just to go through the hard times, and to be that shoulder, and to be that strength, and to be that guy that says, "Oh, you forgot this and you forgot that," because you're dealing with things you just can't do on your own.
I think we needed each other in that time for sure. One thing we did do in that process was go through the Grief Share program.
Yeah.
So if you are struggling with grief, if you've had losses in your life that you feel are still haunting you, or that you're trying to work through, even if it was years and years ago, we highly recommend the Grief Share program. Usually you'll find it at any church in any city or town. And that has really been a good tool for us to learn how to grieve, because grieving is real, and it is something that it's a skill that you won't know how to do unless you have to go through it. So one thing that we learned going through this whole process is, first of all, you need to know Stephanie was amazing. She loved life. She was always full of energy. She was brave. She was fearless. She would laugh easily and loudly. She would love freely. She would just pursue every dream or goal that she had, and she achieved a lot of things. They traveled all around the world. She skydived. She rode motorcycles. She did she go scuba diving? She might have even. I'm not even sure.
But she encouraged others to do that too.
And she was always pushing me. Just, Lisa, you can do it. You can do it. You can try harder. You can do more. And really, literally grabbing life by the tail, because that's really what she did. And she was an example of that. And so that is a huge part of why we're doing what we're doing. It's why we do YouTube.
That's why we do that.
To try and encourage other people to say, look, let's do this. Let's inspire one another to move forward and do more.
And life moved on. And a little bit later, we were put into a place where we needed to sell our businesses. Mm-hmm. So we did. And we knew we were at a life change moment at that time. And we wanted to know what the next horizon looked like now that things were changing, because we weren't prepared to sell those businesses at that point. We were going to keep them for years.
Mm-hmm. We were like, okay, now what?
Now what? We've got time. We've got some money. We need to do some things.
Yeah.
Well, first thing I did, I bought a motorcycle.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I bought a Vulcan 1700, and the idea was we were going to travel down to California together. But we looked at the plans of what was on the table, and we thought, you know what? I don't think California's in the planning for 2016, but there was something else that was. So what did we do? We went down to Salmon Arm, and then down to Vancouver, and then up to Whistler, and then to Prince George, and then Prince Rupert, and then we got on the Alaska
Marine Highway, which is a ferry. It's like I think we stayed 2 nights on the ferry.
2 nights on the ferry.
3 days, basically. And, it was fantastic. We saw whales.
Yeah.
We went through, actually, the whales, that was on my bucket list. That was a big deal. I'm like, I really want to see whales in the wild. And we saw tons. Lots of humpbacks. Frederick Sound, if you're ever out doing the Alaska Inside Passage, Frederick Sound, be outside on the decks and watch for those whales.
And
You'll
you will
see
see
tons.
them.
They're breaching, they're spy hopping, they're everywhere. It was fantastic.
Fantastic. And then we got off that ferry early in the morning at Skagway, Alaska, went to Whitehorse, worked our way all the way down to Dawson Creek, and then through Jasper, and then Calgary. And we were at home for about 2 nights.
Yeah, just to do laundry.
Just to do laundry and regroup. And then we headed down to, through St. Mary and such, down to Yellowstone.
Well, we actually went Beartooth Pass and then Chief Joseph Highway, which are amazing motorcycle rides, and then through Cody and then Yellowstone and then back home. So altogether we did about 4 weeks of travel.
Yes.
How far did we go?
We went 8,500 kilometers.
Ah, it was crazy.
2 people on 2 wheels in 1 month to all of those places.
It was awesome. So lessons learned in that whole trip. One of the biggest lessons is that, you know what, we're happy with less.
I know.
Who knew? So literally we had just the one bike. So we had 2 saddlebags. One of them was filled with gear and tools. The other one I think had like rain gear and that kind of thing in it.
And bear spray.
And bear spray. And then just like one luggage, one little piece of suitcase on the back. And
it wasn't little.
It was big.
It was
but
big.
It's still, I mean, it had to have everything in it for both of us.
Yes.
I'm celiac actually, so it even had to have our food because
right.
I can't just eat anywhere. So when we got home from that motorcycle trip, I remember thinking to myself, why do I need all this stuff? This 4-bedroom house with just everything, all these clothes and decorations and extra dishes and just so much stuff. So I think that's when I had a mental shift and started looking into minimalism and saying, okay, how can we live with less and grab that freedom that we felt riding on the motorcycle and live that every day?
That's right. And so that's where we are today. We've sold the house and
we did.
And we
sold the
downsized.
house. That was also never in that
Going
plan that we thought we were going to do.
We actually sold the motorcycles. We sold the house. We've sold basically a ton of stuff, given away a ton of stuff. We're living in the funnel. We don't have a lot, but we've kept a lot of things aside for the RV.
Yeah.
We've started a couple of business ventures that some of them caused me to travel. And because of that, we're thinking we could take our house with us. And we can take our kitchen with us because Lisa's celiac.
That's important for sure.
So living in a hotel doesn't make sense if you have the option instead of traveling to that region and have your own place to sleep and have your own place to make your food. And so RV just all of a sudden came on our radar and went, why not this?
Well, it's funny that it came on our radar because my mom and dad actually sold their place and started living in their trailer full time as well. And when they first did it, I have to say, I was like, that's crazy. Nobody does that.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know what? They're so happy. And I think it's that whole concept of not being burdened down with things and with stuff and with maybe with debt or with all of those financial obligations when you're living in a sticks and bricks house. And so when the idea came to us, well, maybe we should just live in a trailer, it wasn't quite so crazy because my mom and dad were already doing it. So we're like, okay, we could do that. And now we're so excited. We can hardly wait.
It's going to be great. Hey, one thing that's kept us back from being in an RV now is our youngest daughter. We needed to make sure that she had the right place to go to. And lo and behold, she's getting married.
She is. She got engaged 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
I think just 2 weeks ago, and they are getting married at the beginning of September. So again, the plan was that we would buy an RV in, say, like what we were thinking, April or May, or like right now, and that we would launch this month in June. And that hasn't gone the way we thought it would, but it's okay. So we're just going to bump that leave date to the end of September. So
that's right.
We'll see. We'll see if it actually happens, but we're really working hard towards that and to make that happen. So what are we doing right now? We're working on those businesses.
Yes.
We are creating that income source so that we can travel.
Yes.
And be mobile. Basically, what do they call it? Digital nomads, I think?
Run the office right out of where you live, wherever that is.
Yeah. And planning a wedding, which is really fun. And we'll do that wedding, we'll get in a truck and trailer, and then we'll hit the road, and maybe we can meet you somewhere on the way. We don't even know where we're going yet. We're just wanting to be south for the winter and north for the summer.
Somewhere where we're going to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on this little trip down memory lane, and we hope that you will be inspired to grab life by the tail. We spelled tail the way we did on purpose. It's the stories.
It is.
It's the people and their stories. I'm going to get emotional here. Where they came from, where they're going, what has shaped us, what has shaped you.
That's right.
To be the person that you are. And actually, we do want to ask you this question as we close. We want to ask you, what has life thrown your way? Maybe a curveball, maybe something you totally did not expect, that you were able to use that to launch you forward instead of pulling you back. we'd like to hear your stories. So go ahead and leave those in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel so you can hear more about our journeys as we launch forward from this point.
Don't be afraid of leaving a comment. It can be 3 words, 10 words, 500 words, I don't care.
And subscribing is free.
That's right.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.